Hey guys, Lindsay here. Welcome back to my channel. So as you can see from the title, we have more fun indie goodies to go through today. And I'm really excited about this one because, you know, I love colorful palettes, but I mean also it's candy themed and I love candy. So I've already done a video on Bombshell Cosmetica before. I did their Candylicious palette. I'll have it linked up in the cards. So this is what the palette looks like if you haven't seen it. It's a very beautiful palette and I actually do really like this palette, but it's not quite as colorful as I thought it was going to be. I mean, just from this cover right here. But they did kind of like a revisit to the candy theme and released this entire Candylicious collection. I'll put like a picture up here of what the whole collection looks like. It was insane. It had 3 little mini palettes. They did kind of a restock of the Candylicious palette, tons of lashes. They even did little loose highlighters, which I didn't pick any of those up because I've got a lot of highlighters right now, so I'm good. But I did pick up 2 of the palettes. I picked up the Hubba Bubba palette and the Sour Blast palette. I am splitting these up into 2 videos. So this video is on the Sour Blast palette, and then I will have the Hubba Bubba palette up, probably either my next video or the one after that, so it won't be too long. I did also get 2 sets of the lashes. One is the set I'm wearing right now. Both of them are this kind of like gummy bear theme is what they did. They had like different candy themes, and then within those they had different lash styles. So I got 2 different styles. I got the style Dakota, which is what I'm wearing, and Go Bananas. So I'm gonna save Go Bananas for my look with the Hubba Bubba palette, and I'll set that aside. I will go ahead and show you the inside of the Hubba Bubba palette before we move on, just so that if you're curious about that one, you know to look out for it. But this is what it looks like right here. It's a little bit more subtle, a little bit more muted, but I just kind of loved the really pretty pastel vibe. And I love this row of shimmers because I can tell you their shimmer quality, it's pretty good. This one, the one we're doing the video on today, the Sour Blast palette, very, very bright and bold. So these are your colors right here. Lots of beautiful, gorgeous, bright tones. You still have some kind of like pastel hints with like this blue here and this one. They do come off a bit more sheer. You'll see that in the swatches, but they build up really nicely, especially over a tacky primer. And again, the shimmer formulas. You can't go wrong with their shimmer formulas. So the palettes are supposed to be scented. They're just supposed to smell like whatever they're inspired by. So these are inspired by the like those little sour gummy worms, like the 2 colored gummy worms. I think it's like the Trolley brand or whatever. Yeah, they do. It does smell like it. Let's smell the Hubba Bubba one just to see. This one's not as strong. I feel like the cardboard overpowers it a little bit, but it kind of smells like bubblegum, maybe a little bit like watermelon bubblegum. But yes, this one totally makes me think of those sour gummy worms. And what's funny is I didn't necessarily set off with the intention to do like a watermelon inspired look, if you will. But when I swatched it, of course, that lime green, it called to me. I had to use it. And I started thinking of what colors I wanted to use with it. And I played around with different ideas. And in the end, I decided on using these colors. And it was like the more that I played around with blowing out the pink and then I added the green, it made me think of a watermelon. And because it was just so vibrant and fun, it made me think of like a sour, juicy watermelon because I love those little sour watermelon gummy candies. That is literally my favorite type of candy. Like I'm a chocolate fanatic, but if you give me sweets, I love those little sour watermelon gummies. They're my favorite. So yeah, my tummy took over apparently and I decided to go full-blown watermelon. All right, so let me go ahead and show you the swatches and then I'll show you how to get to this beautiful look. All right, we have Frosty, Bananas, Gummy, Melon, Bonbon, Lime, Lollipop, Sweet, Cavity, Sweetheart, Sugar Rush, and Rainbow. So these are all just straight on my arm. You can see they're kind of sheer and I did have to layer these up a good bit to get this amount of color to show up. But I will say that if I put some kind of primer down, the color would have stuck a lot better because I've already used them on my eyes and I can tell you that. So just something to keep in mind, but this way you can see what the colors look like. All right, I'm gonna prime my eyes first with the Urban Decay Primer Potion. This is in the shade Eden. And I'm going to leave this tacky. I'm not going to set it. All right, let me see if I can pull these over to the side a bit because they're cute, but not necessarily convenient for putting makeup on. There we go, nice and cheesy. Okay, that way at least the bangs are out of the way while I do the makeup. All right, I'm starting out with Melon on this very kind of detailed packing brush, and I'm just packing that right into the crease about halfway. Okay, and then for the rest of the way, I'm going to use Cavity, which I'm gonna be real honest, and you're gonna see in a second. When you put these two side by side, they kind of start to look like each other. You can tell that this shade on the outside, Cavity, is more of like a red, and the inner part, Melon, looks more like a watermelon red, I guess you'd say. But when you put them side by side, they kind of look like the same color. So just keep that in mind. And I'm taking this just kind of down, I'm rounding it out. And then with this little blending brush, I don't have anything on it yet. I'm just gonna start buffing out the edges. And down here, I'm gonna bring it kind of down and start swirling it like I would with my like outer corner area. So they kind of turn pink or pinkish once you start diffusing them out, which is perfect because now I'm adding gummy on top. So I'm just going to blend this right over the top of both those shades. And then as I get to the outer portion with the hot pink shade, I'm keeping most of the color, like where the crease is, and then I'm just swirling and diffusing and going a bit, well, I say a bit, a lot blown out with it. But I'm just doing it gradual, so it just kind of like fades out. And as you can see, I did a really blown out like under eye, so I'm just gonna go ahead and just bring it around and under. And if you need to, mix in a little bit of the watermelon so that it's got a bit more of that watermelon-y color. And then, again, just blend it out. And I'm just doing circular motions here. Okay, I'm not gonna do too much under the eye because I do want to go in with the green. I think that is pretty good. All right, so that's as far out as I'm going to go. Of course, if you don't want to do a really blown out look, you can just kind of stop it like you normally would with your eyeshadow, not blow it out like underneath, and it's still a really pretty color combination. So I am going to cut the crease with my Tarte Shape Tape now. Okay, and then right over the top, I'm gonna use this green shade, which is Lime. I'm just gonna use this really big brush to cover more area, and then I'll use a smaller brush to get into the like cut crease area, and I am gonna spritz it with a little setting spray. The color's pretty on its own, but I did notice that the setting spray just helped it stick a lot faster, and I didn't need as much layering. All right, now jumping down to the lower lash line, I'm gonna go into a Lollipop with a flat angle brush and just line the entire lower lash line just to about right here. And then I'm just using a pencil brush to run a little bit more of that color underneath it to blow it out a bit more. You could just go straight in with the pencil brush if you wanted to. I tend to go in with a liner brush first just because my eyes are so sensitive lately. So if I get like the tiniest little bit of shadow in my eyes, they tend to freak out in water. And then back into that shimmering lime shade on a tiny little brush, I'm just going to add a little bit on the inner portion of the lower lash line, a little bit over the top of the green, like that. And now to finish off the eyeshadow, inner corner highlight, I'm gonna do a little bit of a combination. I'm gonna lay down lime first and then top it with Frosty. And this time I'm just using it dry and just kind of patting it on. And then Frosty. Okay, so now to finish off the eyes, I'm gonna add a couple little finishing touches. First off, some glitter. This is one of the heavy metal glitter liners from Urban Decay. It's the shade Volume, so it's kind of like a pinky iridescent color. And I'm just going to go right over the cut crease with this. Just adds a tiny little hint of something there. And then adding a wing, so I'm just gonna use the NYX liquid liner like I've been using lately. I'm gonna fast forward through this because you guys have seen me do a wing. Okay, and then I'm gonna take that liquid liner and just do 3 little dots on the inner corner of the eye. Let me see if I can get a little closer, okay. Okay, hopefully that was in focus and I wasn't blocking you with the mirror the whole time. I tried. For The lower lash line, I am gonna pop a nude liner. This is Honeydew from ColourPop, just to keep things nice and bright. And then finishing off with mascara. Okay, so now to finish off the eyes, I'm gonna do lashes, and I did get a pair of lashes from Bombshell Cosmetica. I got one of their yummy gummy lashes, so it looks like gummy bear packaging, and this one is the style Dakota. So let me pop these on and we'll wrap this video up. Alright guys, so these are the eyes done. I absolutely love the way this came out because it's just super fun and just something a little different than what I've been doing lately. As far as what's on my lips goes, I used one of these little Besame. This is from their Snow White mini collection. This is the shade right here. You can just see it's a very bright pink. I put this down as a light layer. This is the shade Bashful, and then I topped it with my good old Fenty Gloss Bomb in Diamond Milk, which I think I'm gonna add a little more. I had to have some juicy candy looking lips to go with these eyes. This is just really fun, and I absolutely loved using this palette. Definitely a lot of fun to work with. That lime green is a super impressive shade, which I'm not surprised about. I really enjoyed their shimmer shades in the first palette, the Candylicious palette, and the shimmer shades, when I swatched them, did not disappoint. I really think you don't even need to wet that lime shade. You could probably put it on really nicely with your finger and get a good application. You could also just use a brush. I chose to wet it because it just went on a lot faster. I was covering the entire lid, and that way you don't have to layer it up quite as much. Other than that, the mattes went on really nicely over the top of the primer. You guys saw that I didn't set the primer, so that kind of helps them grip a little bit better. But then they did blend out really nicely once I started using the circular motions to blend them. Probably my only complaint with any of the shadows I used today is just the fact that Melon and Cavity really do look like the identical same color when you put them next to each other. So I really wanted to also use the like blues and purples in this palette. I thought about doing 2 looks, but I wasn't gonna have enough time to film 2 looks tonight, which is, you know, the night I'm filming it and editing it, which is why I don't have time for 2 looks. But I figured if you guys do wanna see a second look sometime soon, let me know in the comments below, because I do wanna start doing like a throwback Thursday type of series, I'm thinking. My plan is to start doing 3 videos a week, so posting Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays, and I'll reserve the Thursday video for like a throwback Thursday, because I used to love it when that girl Shay did her throwback Thursday videos. Now granted, mine would be more like indie brand related more than likely, or even potentially Hot Topic palettes if you guys want to see some of those revisited as well. But I figure it's kind of like a fun premise of me picking maybe 2 or 3 options, putting them on my Instagram or on the community tab or something, letting you guys pick, and then I'll like come up with a different look. But it kind of forces me to like shop my stash, use the products I already own. I'm trying to be more picky about what I buy. I'm not calling it a low buy, but it kind of unofficially is. So I think that would be a fun way to still put out content for you guys, and it also gives you a chance to see other looks with palettes that you maybe have purchased or are still kind of on the fence about purchasing. So if you guys are interested in this palette being one of those, let me know in the comments below, and I will gladly do something with the blues and purples. So that's all for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and of course, don't forget to subscribe if you're not already. Thank you guys for watching. Bye!